Welcome to WROL Broadcast. I am Hateman. With me today I have Doombox
Hello.
and DP0427.
Hey,
Are you on vacation right now, DP, or?
I think it's like an eternal thing, but yeah, probably.
So this is our spectacular episode 300, and yes, we are counting the Oddsman, which, DP, were you the founder of the Oddsman, or was it Doom?
Well, odd being ODD was me, Doom, and Ogre at the same time. So
Oh, okay.
the three of us were.
Yeah, so you guys actually started the whole podcasting thing for DC Legends, and then me and Slow Beast did We Are Legends, and then we've since merged quite a long time ago now. It's been, what, a year and a half, 2 years?
Yeah, it's been a while.
This podcast has been going on for a long time. Anyway, so when you combine all those episodes, and we're not counting like Caga After Dark or Ogre Barbarians YouTube videos, we're only counting the ones that were also in audio format. So we actually made it all the way to 300 episodes, which is pretty amazing. I can't even believe we've made it that far. But so we asked on Reddit some A.M.A questions, ask me anything for those of you unfamiliar. Those have become pretty popular. So let's just get into some of these questions. I have one I'm saving. I'm hoping to get Slow Beast on, so I'll probably splice it into this part if he gets it.
And now we have a question from Chosen One, and I will let Slowbeast answer.
Hey, this is the legend Slow Beast. If an ambulance is on its way to save someone and it runs over someone, does it stop to help them, or do they call another ambulance? The funny thing is, I can actually answer this. I'm a lieutenant at the fire department. And if the ambulance is responding to a call and hits someone, they would stop and render aid if necessary, and a second ambulance would be sent to the original call. It is illegal to leave the scene of an accident, even if you are an ambulance. I hope this helps.
But there's a few owl questions, which I'm going to, later in the episode, you'll hear me, Kage, and possibly Loot talking about those. But the first one is kind of funny, and I will throw this to you, Doom, first. Give us a tier list on how you rate your peers, fellow podcasters, competitors, and or streamers. Most informative, most entertaining. This is from Joker. So.
Oh, joy.
I feel like we're gonna get a nice one here.
Yeah.
This one.
Well, I don't know, because, like, as podcasters, all of us are viable, right? It's not like any of us are, like, F-tier podcasters, otherwise we wouldn't be here, except for me, maybe. So, let's see. In terms of consistency, I am F-tier. DP, unfortunately, is also F-tier to some degree.
Well, I would disagree with you there, because he does consistently show up for the podcast.
No, he does. But for everything else, it's like, man, let's get DP on this. And then he's just not there. And I'm like, oh, that's right. He works for a living. He doesn't think DCL is life. So, in terms of consistently giving his soul to WB, F tier. Everyone else, probably some mixture of B and A. I don't know. Kage's probably A tier. You're A tier. Luke's probably A tier. And I don't really know Slowbeast's schedule that much, but I assume he's probably S tier.
I would say for showing up to everything, I think I do deserve an S tier there.
Yeah.
You think so?
Being that I'm on literally every episode up until recently.
If you're gonna pick a category for that, yeah. Oh.
May not for what I provide, but showing up, yeah.
What were the other ones? In terms of personality, we're all.
They're just saying how most entertaining, most informative. However you want to rate it. You don't have to necessarily use our tier list.
In terms of entertaining, we're all F tier also. No one watches this because we're entertaining. They watch this because they want to hear my hot takes.
I would say you're up there, and
you talk about the meta.
People are pretty entertained by Loot as well. And his.
You think so?
His trash
I don't
tier
find
takes.
it entertaining. Loot reminds me a little bit of Larry the Cable Guy if all of us were in the redneck comedy group. Like, he's probably the funniest of the four, but that doesn't necessarily make him funny. That just makes him the funniest of four unfunny people. So, unfortunately, we're all the, I can't swear, can I?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, well, we're all crap tier for entertainment value, unfortunately. People still watch. I don't know why.
Maybe because there's just no other options. So thankfully, we've not had real competition.
We have a monopoly on it. They don't have a choice. Oh, you don't like our podcast? Go listen to something else. Oh, wait, you can't.
Actually,
Tootytron has not being funny.
But thankfully he just does mostly solo stuff, and he doesn't do audio only, which is a large portion of our listener base. So we're all right.
You're literally telling our competition how to beat us.
That's because I was going to defect and just join his podcast and do no work.
No, but in seriousness, in terms of entertainment value, I guess in terms of controversy entertainment, I'm probably pretty up there just by sheer fact that people are like, oh, Doombox is ranting about something. What's that crazy old coot talking about this time? And it's either hit or miss. So I guess I'm A tier or B tier. Kage's pretty funny. I like Kage, so he's probably B tier. Loot would probably be A tier, I suppose, or maybe S tier. I guess people really like him.
They love or hate him. He's kind of like
Kage's, you. Kage's muscle tier.
Yeah, Kage's in a tier of his own.
Yeah.
DP is... I don't know. Do people find DP funny?
I don't know.
I find him funny, but I don't think he's joking most of the time that I find him funny. So
but remember, a lot of what we hear is not what's aired. So.
Right.
Yeah, I would say, especially normally, like 90% of my content these days versus what I started with in the beginning is the podcast, right? So given that, and on the podcast, I'm like 90% of the time a host, right? I'm just basically like the MC passing a mic around. So I'm kind of boring.
I remember one episode a long time ago where I had you on as a guest and we were doing something. And people are like, wow, DP has so much more personality. I was like, oh.
But I have something to talk about, maybe, yeah. But I'm basically, that's part of the reason why I have like the robot character, right? Because I'm boring. But I actually would say that even in real life, I mean, when I have something to talk about, maybe, but most of the time, I'm pretty boring.
So you're a sleeper S tier, got it. People sleeping on you? They're
well,
like, that DP.
Let me take a look at our tier list. Where would Cyborg Superman be? He's B tier at the most. So yeah, that makes sense.
So you're the counter pick basically. Like you're not good normally, but when the time comes, you're the one that everyone wants above everyone else.
So when you need me, I don't miss. Hey.
Exactly. Hey. But yeah, I mean, pretty much outside of that, everyone else is A or B tier, and I'm somewhere in the lower tiers. It feels weird being the worst podcaster on our group, but it's whatever. Someone has to be.
I'm gonna say, like, if you wanna put some insight onto me in terms of consistency before and after, like from the Oddsman until now, I think a lot of people know, especially people who have followed us from the beginning, over the years. I used to live in Japan, which is actually a big factor into how things have changed. So I moved back to Canada. So for all of you Canadians, shout out to you guys. But the reason why I was a lot more consistent in doing stuff before in Canada was because my previous job was like almost non-existent in the sense that I didn't have that much responsibility anymore. Also because I was on my way out. Like I was just looking for a reason to quit. So I was like slacking off and doing other stuff at work, which was why I had so much time on my hands, if that makes sense.
Which actually, this goes into our next question, so I'll ask this while you can finish your thought. What do you all do for a living where you can dedicate so much time and money to this game?
I can't anymore, but previously I used to work within like the IT and trade field in Japan, and at that point I was doing a lot of my stuff on a computer anyways, which was the reason why I was doing 90% of my work at work, like in an office in Japan. But now, so basically given the fact that I can't slack off at work anymore, I now work in a fintech company. So as a result, and I'm working for a California team based on the West Coast, but I live in the East Coast, so my time is like really off right now. So that's kind of weird. then my new company, I'm really dedicated to that. I got promoted twice in like half a year, so my life is really hectic right now. So
Gonna
that's
be raining
why,
gems soon.
maybe, but at the same time, that being what it is, I have to dedicate that unless I want to not show people that I don't deserve this promotion. So um, that's part of the reason why I haven't been able to create other content, and also I have been neglecting my Reddit responsibilities and Discord responsibilities. So there's that. But then that's me making excuses right now, right? So I don't know. Doom, what do you want to say about what you do?
Well, first off, I don't really think I fit this question because I don't devote time or energy to anything, really. But from what little time I do put in, I used to work for a hot sauce shop, which meant that I could just do whatever I wanted because hot sauce isn't really a thing you buy more than once a month, so the store was 90% of the time empty. Outside of that, I worked at a car rental place, Enterprise, very nice company. And they let me basically just do whatever also because they were like, oh, you got to go record your thing? Sure, you're good. Go ahead. I was like, okay, cool. And secretly I went home and played video games. I didn't record anything. But, outside of that, I've been enjoying this nice, unemployment. Unfortunately, as it goes, got furloughed, but whatever. They're going to bring me back soon. So, I just happen to have a lot more time on my hands. So,
Cool.
I'm sure everyone has a lot more time on their hands as of recent.
There was a period earlier this year due to PPP where I couldn't do anything. So, even on the weekends.
I shouldn't have. I also work in big finance, big banking, on the banking side, and I work in commercial, so that was all about PPP all the time. And I shouldn't have done anything. I somehow managed to still squeeze out some podcast stuff, but it was insanity. I think we did release less than
And
usual.
that's why you're S tier.
It was brutal. Things slowed down for a while because we were working from home, but now I'm back in the office and things are surprisingly busy. And I have a very large team, so it's a lot of work. But but I still somehow dedicate a ridiculous amount of time to this game. And Loot works in something with computers and cloud stuff. I don't know. He does something. But and then Kage's also recently joined Big Finance. So even though he hates big companies and big finance, so it's kind of ironic but funny. Anyway, moving on.
You missed Ogre.
Oh yeah, and Ogre. What does Ogre do again? He works.
He works in a gas station, I think.
Yeah, he does something at a gas station. I don't know exactly what.
He works like the night shift, which is why his schedule is like always off from us. On top of the fact that he's the only person on the... So. He's also on the West Coast too, where I think 90% of us are closer to the East Coast.
Oh, Dim's about to get arrested again.
Is that me or is that Dim?
I don't know.
think no, that's you. I don't have
I think I live out. There's like a police station down the street from me. Hold on one sec.
I didn't even think you guys had crime in Canada.
We have less. It still exists. There was like a bunch of like homicides around me recently.
Next question. Oh, and that question before was from Luigim05. Luigim05. Next question. Here's a good one. Doom, I'll start with you. What is your biggest motivation to continue with DCL from Nitro Cotton 2020? That's what I thought I'd go to you first.
Motivation to continue. I don't even know what that means. No, but I don't know. Just all these new characters and their new, how can I say this? A lot of the new characters have had moves with new properties to them that we haven't seen before. And that's what really keeps me intrigued personally. Because, you look at the moves and you're like, oh, well, how is this going to interact with these 18 other things? Like the fact that even though Artemis swings last on her basic on turn starts, she never misses on characters that put up evasion. So it's like, wow, that order of operations is weird, but it's also cool because breakpoints and blah, 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 and other nerd stuff you guys don't really care about really on the deep end. But that's basically my main motivation. You know, because in terms of modding, the community is very well behaved. I hardly ever have to do anything for the most part, except for take things out of AutoMod and put them back on the Reddit because AutoMod is weird. But beyond that point, yeah, it's, you know, trying new things, learning new stuff, and helping to evolve the game, I guess would be my motivation. What about you guys?
Go ahead, DP.
I guess if I'm going to be very honest, because it's been, like 4 years now since the game has been out almost? Like,
Yeah.
we're in actually this year, this month, actually. This is when this time 4 years ago is when the beta came out, right?
Yeah, which makes our podcast 3 years old because we started the podcast about a year ago.
Right. So, I mean, let's put that into perspective in terms of a timeline, right? Part of that makes me feel like I'm kind of spinning my wheels to a degree, where I feel like I'm pot committed to the game. Like I've put so much time, effort, energy, money, resources, etc. into the game where I just don't want to see it go to waste, right? So I'm kind of going through the motions. That's in one, if I'm being honest, right? That's one thing. The second thing is that I have my alliance. So I'm the leader of my alliance. It's the Justice League of Reddit. We also, Doom and I and one other Redditor at some point, we created the first 3 Reddit alliances before alliances were a real thing, right?
He created Badnon.
Oh, right. Actually, there was 4 now that I think about it. It was us 3 plus, I can't remember his name anymore because the 4th alliance got dissolved. We had the Justice Society of Reddit. So we had the Justice League and the Justice Society of Reddit. And the JSR basically couldn't really pull their weight and they just disappeared. Then we had, originally Doom's was the Legion of Doom, and it became the Legacy of Doom because Doom retired as the leader, right? And then...
Yeah, I think that was around my 2nd retirement.
That's right. Then Ogre, as Doom was saying, he founded Bad Anon, so BA, which was like a throwback to Wreck-It Ralph. And then, so we had those 4 alliances in the beginning. JSR and JLR kind of assimilated, and JLR just became one thing. And out of the 4 of us, or out of the 3 alliances, right now, I think and then BA and LOD became one alliance too. So there's only 2 real Reddit alliances still alive. But then there were other alliances that cropped up afterwards, and then a lot of people joined the Redditverse, and then the Owls included. But then the Owls, we actually flirted with this topic, I think, a very, very long time ago. If you guys want to have your own channel in the Redditverse, right?
Yeah, which we decided.
I think because like you guys were mainly Line users, and you're like, yeah, we're too lazy to like get onto like to make Discord part of a thing, right? So like you guys are already comfortable with Line. I think that's how it sorted itself out, right?
Yeah, we don't like it. We use Line for everything.
Fair enough. So then there was that. So that's another reason why I'm still sort of committed to the game. It's because of my alliance and great group of guys. I like where we're going and where we've always been. We've always been a consistent 100 alliance, and that's kind of like where we are and where we want to be. Then when it comes to like the game itself, there was a period of time where it was, we'll call it the dark ages of DCL, where I feel like the content really just didn't move. I would say for like maybe 2 years, right? Like there was a point where PvP content, PvE content, nothing was changed, right? Until all of a sudden, I would say, like, was it near 2018 when they started adding stuff like raids? They added stuff like even
well, they added siege and showdowns and stuff all at the same time. I think.
And even what do you call it? Red alerts. Like, can you imagine a time without red alerts? We had that time, right?
Yeah, it's been a long time. Like we had.
Yeah.
I think that's what got me. Because I was getting close to bailing,
on our way out, right?
And then they did showdowns and siege, and then that really got me into it. And then I was really close to bailing again. Actually, was siege or raids first? I can't remember.
Raids came first. Siege came, I think.
Siege has been out for over a year.
Raid? I think. No, wait, no. Maybe I have that backward. One of them came 3 after the other one. So.
Yeah.
It's one of the 2.
Because I know I was really close to leaving really, really close to leaving, and then they announced raids and
Yep.
rebirth, and that got me kind of back into it.
I actually find it ironic how you got back in because of Rebirth. That shows the different scale of players that we are. Because a lot of people, when they saw Rebirth, that was the final straw for them, and they were on their way out. You know what I mean? So it's interesting how Rebirth played to different demographics, I think.
Well, I think rebirth probably saved the game
Yeah.
because the spenders were on the way out.
Oh, for
Like
sure.
all the spenders I knew were like, we had nothing else to chase. Like what else is there to do?
It's the same thing with Gear 11, right? I feel it's kind of in the same vein.
Yeah.
So that was the last straw that broke the camel's back in earlier, was it 2018, I think, right? Or 2017 maybe. When that came out, I think it was right after the Deathstroke meta, right?
Yeah, Deathstroke right after Deathstroke meta was Gear 11.
Yeah. And for all your
Man.
youngins out there who don't know what the Deathstroke meta is, be happy about that. Because now, if you look at our tier list now and you see Deathstroke in the trash tier, there was a point where he was S tier.
He was triple S. He wasn't
True.
even.
He was the Deathstroke tier. He was in the tier
It
of his
was
own.
literally the only character you needed outside of Baby Lobo.
Yeah,
Yes.
when we say Baby Lobo, Lobo was ungeared because you wanted him to die and revive 3 times. And there was
By the
very
way-
little heal immunity at the time, by the way. I don't even think heal immunity existed at one point.
Well, it did, but it didn't affect revives. And also, Baby Lobo didn't used to have a revive cap. He could just revive as much as he wanted.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
By the way, I'm taking a look at my Lobo right now. He is currently level 60, gear 1.2.
Yep. Because that was all you wanted. You just needed to get to level 60 and ring him. And then he
Yeah.
died endlessly. Deathstroke had no cap on his buffs, and you could literally take on any team with just those 2 characters and win any match. It was
Yeah.
disgusting.
So, I mean, I guess talking about stuff like that, right? That's actually contrary to what kept us in the game. That's kind of stuff that pushed us towards leaving too. Like, I was really close to just like, ugh, this is what's the point of all this, right? Because there was the Deathstroke meta. There was like the couple of years, almost like a year and a half, maybe 2 years of Wonder Girl, where I was just like, I hate this. Like, why am I playing this game? You know? So that's sort of like it's the opposite answer to that previous question. But I mean, I guess to wrap things up, in terms of PvP and content of the game that's keeping me in it right now, it's the new stuff that's coming out and hopefully stuff that's coming in the pipeline, right? But that being said, I mean, I guess we can share this because I think it's not a hidden, it's not hidden news or anything like that. Our group as podcasters, we are very privileged. We're thankful to the WB, the fact that we are within sort of like a communication network with them. I guess that's safe to say, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
the VIP chat is known.
Exactly. So the fact that I
I mean,
would
no
say,
one really doesn't
Yeah.
know, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's pretty open secret.
Even though you didn't show up for the last feedback session, but
I barely do these days just because like I have Discord on my phone. I have Discord everywhere. I just don't look at it on a regular basis until someone tags me something and I see like dings on my phone.
so
Otherwise,
DP is
yeah.
part of a group that helps to give feedback, but he doesn't always give feedback.
Yeah. There was a point where I lived in that thread or I lived in those channels because of like I had nothing else to do, but now I don't have time for that. I mean, I'm there, but I'm not there kind of thing.
Yeah, so for those of you thinking that owls get information, it's predominantly not owls. So
Yeah,
Oh.
there's only him and Caga.
Oh, right. Okay, fair enough. So that means the rest of us are actually
not
Odds
owls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got them outnumbered. The
Yeah,
peasants
that's fair.
are the population majority. All the whales are off on the oceans, and we're a bunch of whalers just coming in and stealing their good ideas.
Are you saying that Reddit mods are harpooners? Is that what it is?
100%. Oh yeah, we're definitely Captain Ahab, constantly.
Fair enough.
So let me answer a question as well. What keeps me going? Because honestly, I've come close to hanging it up many times. Actually, very recently, I'm starting to chew on the idea again. But yeah, I don't know. Every time I'm about to kind of be like, all right, what am I doing? This is just outrageous. It's too time consuming. It's the same thing. We haven't had any new content in a long time. And then a new character comes out, and it just kind of sucks me in because I have fun for a while. Some months more than others. Like recently, I took Hawkgirl to RB5, and that really got me going again because I was just having so much fun running around with her. But it's, something about the gameplay is just more fun than any other mobile game that I play. And I like having a mobile game to play. I'll play on the computer, I'll play on certain different things, but it's just, oh my god, hang on one second. I gotta turn off the sound on this stupid Discord. Let me just close Discord. Alright, anyway, so so I don't know, the podcast, the game, all of it kind of keeps me going. I really hope they give us something new and exciting to do at some point this year, because I think you kind of feel it in the community. There's like a little bit of a tiredness because there hasn't been anything like new and exciting in a while. So we're about due for something. I know nobody wants Gear 12, but honestly, I think that might be good for the game if it comes with significant content boost. Because there's no way they're going to give us new chapters and stuff without it. It's not happening.
I was going to say, I think this is the same conversation that you and I have had like 20 or 30 times about like content and the impossibility of making engaging content for this game.
Yeah.
But I don't think we've really like voiced it out for other people for the most part. But it's definitely kind of a difficult position for WB to be in this situation. Because how do you make content that's challenging and engaging that isn't challenging to the point of running your face into a wall because nothing else works?
Yeah.
Because it's like, my roster isn't the best. Apparently it's been leaked at some point, and it's just like, wow, I didn't know I was that famous. But it's like there's not a single thing that they could put out there that I couldn't just beat on auto because my characters are just that strong. And if it takes more than one try, then it takes more than one try, but that's not difficulty. That's simulated difficulty through the process of waiting, because that's all it is. It's just more waiting, you know? Like, if there were ever a point where I would need to take the game off of auto and actually plan my moves out, that would probably be the point where I'm like, oh, okay, this is actually engaging and really thoughtful content. But I don't think that's ever going to come to a point, because if it can't be bled to death, then you can just never die, because you can just stack heal and stack damage immunities forever. And
I
it's
think
like,
it could be done, though, because if you look at red alerts, it can get challenging at times. But so if you did a limited roster where you can't use the same character more than, you only have so many tries, or where they limit certain things, I think that's where you could do it in a new style game mode.
I mean, I thought about that, but the only problem is there's a lot of overlap between characters in terms of functionality, because like, we're all aware that there's characters that we've looked at and been like, okay, so this is just blue blank, or this is just red blank. Like, Stripe is red Etrigan, Vandal is a really crappy blue Artemis. Like, even if I could only use a character a limited amount of times, I could just swap out a functionally similar character and have the same result. So, I don't know. Plus, even with red alerts, everyone knows there comes a certain point in the red alert that you just don't have to worry about it anymore because your team's fully overhealed, or, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, to a certain degree. I mean, I've got it to where I can't run on auto all the time anymore, because the teams I'm facing they're all, they're 4 RB5 characters that are, Cassandra Cain, and you can't run auto anymore, which is sometimes is annoying because you have to run it every day, and then other times it's kind of nice because it's, it's actually the first time I felt challenged in the game in any way. But you're right, it's not that hard. I just swap out some characters. I may lose some characters, do it again, and swap out. But I think you could still do it.
Let me jump in here for a second. So when it comes to engaging content that WB can make for us, for example, and then when it comes to things that keep you engaged and make things fun for you in the game, I was thinking about this a lot in the last couple of years, especially in the last year that I was in Japan, when it comes to, let's say, something that you find as your niche. And, Hate Veil can agree to this with his stun teams, right? Like, you came across that, I'd say, in the last year or so, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I mean, a lot of people know me as like the special team or the special team player. Like all my characters are special damage mainly. Like all the characters I use on a regular basis, right? And I just basically picked that as my niche just because I wanted something that was going to streamline and focus me. So that way it helps also with gearing. Um,
Well, before
gearing
it
and
was not common. Now, now it's like every character. So it's
yeah, well, that too at the same time, but it also like makes it so that like I can know if it like say for example, I mean in my case, if a month of new characters only has one or two new special characters or no special characters at all in it, I can like take a month off. I can almost like not focus on them at all, right? It also will get me excited. For example, if a new character is reworked and now they're all special damage, right? So when Martian Manhunter got reworked, for example, that was a huge and incredibly game-changing thing for me. It really got me back into the game in terms of characters I wanted to work with because I was thinking about upgrading Martian Manhunter anyways, but he was a mixed damage character until he became all special damage and is now like S tier almost, right? Is he S tier?
yeah.
I think
Yeah.
he is S tier.
You know? So he went from like something that was on the fringe of like not touching to becoming S tier and made me like super, super like engaged again. So that was one thing. The other thing is that like um, basically Ogre to me was one of the persons that like gave me the idea of doing this because he was the bleed character guys, right? Like he had that niche. When you have that and you build around it, you get excited for things when you release more characters that can do what that you want to do. Um, and there's that too. And then other people, if you look at, for example, Kitty Little, she's all about the female characters, and so is Renee, right? There's other people like Joker, who is all about the villains. So if you find your niche, you can create your own content in a sense, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? What I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's
I
what's fun.
feel a bit bad at your description because my niche is literally people that work well with survival suit Lex Luthor, and that's a very, very, very large niche. That's not even a niche anymore. That's a majority.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but
That
everybody kind of has their own thing that they do. I mean, some people are just strictly about the meta. Some people do, like OC3 in our alliance. He's all about Superman characters. Anybody who's related in or Kryptonian. So he RB5s all them.
cool.
And so, I mean, that is fun. I mean, I like those themes. I mean, the stun theme. I'm kind of starting to get a little bored with. So I'm thinking about shifting themes at some point once something catches my eye. But I was kind of sad. It was actually almost as weird as this can sound. It was actually disappointing to me that Ogre gave up on his main account right when Bleeds became like a legit
Super
thing.
viable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like super, like you, 2D-tron kind of took it over, but 2D-tron's team of Cheetah, Chemo, Talia, and Suicide Squad, Deadshot is pretty awesome, and I hate facing it in red alerts because I always have to shift teams to face it. And it's kind of sad that Ogre kind of give up on that right when it happened.
Yeah. It's one of those things because like when Cassandra Cain came out, right?
Oh, he doesn't
I
use
was like-
Kane. Talia is what he uses. But yeah, Kane's unbelievable.
Yeah. But when Cain came out, I was like, oh wow, this is really interesting. So at first I was like, okay, so she's like Red Siren. But then I was like, oh wait, no, she's, a little better than Red Siren because Siren sucks now. But then they updated Siren, and I was like, oh man, now Cassandra Cain is basically just,
Now, speaking
A
of
lesser
Ogre,
version of
Ogre
Siren.
is free, so let's pull him in.
and then out of nowhere they fixed Cassandra Cain's thing to where she gains evasion on every turn, and I was like, okay, this is ludicrous. Hopefully I never have to fight these people. So, really that's what it came down to was, Bleeds became obnoxious, and then they suddenly became exceptionally good when built with the right team. And then right then Ogre was like, hey, I'm out of here. I'm going to stop playing on my main account and play Gear 8. I'm
So
like,
speak of the devil, Ogre happened to be available. So hey, Ogre.
What up?
Hello.
So we were talking about the A.M.A. question, and we'll ask you this from Nitro Cotton 2020. What is your biggest motivation to continue with DCL? So I'll let you answer that in just a minute. But we were just talking about, and I brought it up, how we were talking about finding our niche in DCL, and that's kind of what's kept us playing and having fun. Your new niche now apparently has become being Gear 8 because you find it more fun. And I was saying how I was disappointed that you had given up on bleeds right when they became awesome, like super awesome. But maybe that makes them less fun for you. So if you want to weigh in on that topic.
Yeah, it's one of those things that when something becomes meta, I all of a sudden don't like it anymore. So, but no, like, you saying bleeds became super awesome and everything, I'm assuming you mean like Captain Atom, Man-Bat, and
No,
the
I actually think
disease,
they're kind of crap. More Cheetah, Chemo, Talia.
Oh, with the reworks, Cheetah and
Yeah.
Camo finally. Yeah, you know, those guys, they are absolutely amazing.
I mean,
and I
Camo's
love
just
them, and I
insane.
still use them. Like, they're pulling me back, I'll put it that way.
Have you thought about
I
dusting
was
off
trying
your
to
main?
avoid the bleeds, and then, like, they started reworking those guys, and I'm like, I need to bleed!
Chemo's ridiculous, especially when he's high rebirth. He is such
I
a nightmare.
absolutely love the rework. It is everything that I dreamed it would be.
No
Neat.
lie, it actually blew my mind because there's a point where I was like posting in the chat because I thought it was a bug, and I was like, guys, what's Chemo's speed supposed to be? It's supposed to be like 86, right? I'm reading the wiki. It's supposed to be 86, right? And then I checked the rework page, and it was like, oh, it's 105 now. And I'm like, what? This guy has
Yeah.
a 30% meter drain and 4 speed down. They made a 105 speed. This character's busted. I'm going to run him now.
Kevin's on like 90% of my teams now. He's like insanely good.
Yeah, he's really silly.
So what makes you like Gear 8 better than max gear level, just to give the audience your kind of take on? I know we talked about it a little bit for this episode.
So the reason that I like Gear 8 more is because you don't suffer one-hit wonder as much. And I think that's part of it that I like, is that I like the game that the game should be, in my mind, that you shouldn't be able to just one-hit everybody. Like, these are all superheroes. Yes, they're supposed to hit hard, but they're freaking superheroes. They can take a hit, too. So, like, that's just in my mind. They shouldn't be able to just everybody get one shot. At Gear 8, I can see some one-shots here and there, depending on what it is going on, but, like, I don't see it all the time. Like, there's some characters that take 4 or 5 hits. There's some characters that take 2 hits. You know, like, I see a lot more variety in the attacks.
All right, we've exhausted that question, so I'll quick answer this one for us. Some sulfur fluoride, also great work on all the guides, buddy. Are you all from the United States? If not, what country you're from? We're all from the United States except for
Me.
DP, who's in Canada, originally from
Yes.
Japan.
Correct.
And supposedly Doom was originally from Japan too. If you
In Scotland.
in Scotland. Next one is from Super Dude 1 Billion. We'll start with you, Ogre. What character did you wish you did not invest heavily in?
Oh, like, previously or now?
Either
Like,
one,
that's
whatever one you want to answer.
a good question, because, and it's not so much that I wish I hadn't invested in him, it's that I wish it had ended up just a little bit better than it was, because I wanted more out of them, because they were a character that I actually specifically requested, and that would be Grodd.
Oh yeah.
Because I specifically, when I went to WB, they asked me, oh, who's a character that you would want to see? And I said, Grodd, as my answer, you know? And I was really, really excited. I love the way his leadership and everything it looks on paper. And then he just ended up being slightly disappointing, and I was like, I'm still going to do it.
Yeah, he's
I'm
one I
gonna
really
jump in.
hope would get a good rework. How about you, DP?
I'm hoping he
Yeah,
does.
I'm gonna jump in
He
my
looks so good.
My answer is like I guess the short answer is any character that is not special damage that I have geared up and invested in. But I guess the more in-depth answer is because I'm not really I guess you wouldn't really call me a free-to-play player, but I'm not a whale by any means at all. I've only spent money for a select few characters, like for their gem packs in the past. And I think off the top of my head, the very first character was Red Hood, because of how he treated the meta. And I actually really like, what's his name? I mean, why am I not? What's the Robin's name?
Red Robin?
Nightwing.
I mean, I'm
Nathan
talking
Drake?
about the character.
Oh,
Red
Jason
Robin?
Todd.
Jason?
Jason Todd. So I like Jason Todd.
Oh,
Yeah. So I like Jason Todd as a character. That's why I invested in Red Hood. And then otherwise there was the other characters that I actually went out of my way for was Larfleeze, Martian Manhunter, and Superman. And Superman, of course, I don't regret that. But Red Hood stands out ironically, even though he's one of the best characters in the game right now, as a character that I don't use. So I wish I didn't really invest in him. So that's the answer for me.
How about you, Doom?
As of recent, Vandal Savage. But yeah, okay. Well, I guess regret is a strong word because I can still use him. He's just garbage.
Hey now.
No. I'm not letting anyone disagree with me on this one. This guy is trash tier. If Loot were here, you guys would all be here in the back it up and all that stuff. No, 100%. Vandal Savage is trash, but that's okay because you know what? It's okay for some characters to not be the best characters in the game sometimes. It's perfectly fine. He's a solid C-tier character. Maybe they'll rework him. Who knows? In terms of characters I regret gearing from my past, that's actually a really tough one because I don't really regret gearing any characters. You know? Like, if I gear a character, I usually gear them for a specific purpose or to put them on a specific team, and then I put them on the team, and then it works, and then that's that, you know? And I haven't geared everyone, so it's like, you know, the character I haven't geared yet, I obviously don't regret not gearing. So at the end of the day, for me, I don't really have an answer. Outside of Vandal Savage, I'm disappointed in him, but I don't regret it. And I think that's kind of the summary of it. Every character I regret, not so much. Disappointed by, sure, because I believe that they would do something and maybe they didn't do it as well as I thought they would, but regret, definitely not. There's no character I regret gearing.
I'm kind of in the same boat. I don't really regret gearing anybody. The only reason I ever regret gearing anybody is the stupid up and away mission, and I have to leave Toons. This time I was smart and did not gear Vandal Savage because early reports were not good right away, so I waited a little bit to see, and I don't really see any reason that I would need him. I mean, nobody even uses him in Siege, and he's a bonus character, so it's pretty telling. So,
I'm using him, but I'm not happy. And I'm a special damage character player.
and he might be better in the Gear 8 world.
Yeah, I like him. I honestly think he's a B tier,
But even Tootie, who loves Vandal Savage as a character, is not happy with him. So, and Tootie likes crappier tunes. So that was kind of the selling point for me not to gear him. So now I'm actually set for. I didn't gear Guy, and Guy's I think he's a lot better than Vandal personally. But he's still not a character that really does anything for me. Like his kit just doesn't excite me at all. So doesn't play into what I usually play. So I'm happy I have two characters that aren't geared that should sustain me for probably a good year. So maybe by then Gear 12 will be out and I won't have to worry about it anymore. Next question. This is from Shape69. And we have a lot of questions left, so we got to start moving a little quicker. Has anyone ever brought up in PvP why the rewards range from top 1500, 195 swords, and then the next reward is top 100? Can't they have 1,500 then 100? It's literally no motivation to be higher than 1,499.
I feel like this is a me question.
Yeah,
I think we brought this up at the very beginning of DCL, and just for those of you who haven't been here from the beginning, like back in 2016, geez, it's been a long time. But I mean, since then, right? This has been a question since the literal very beginning. That bracketing, like sort of the structure of the reward payout for PvP, it has not changed since then, right? Can anyone confirm that?
No, it hasn't.
I don't think I've ever seen that, right?
Yeah.
And
the rankings haven't changed.
They gave
The
more
shard payout
shards.
has.
They upped the shard count, but the brackets have never changed.
Yeah. But the breakout, like where you get rewarded, hasn't changed.
Yep.
No.
Not once. And I feel like there's a lot to be said about putting like taking the same amount of prizes and just spreading them out, right? a little bit more evenly. And I think there's a lot to be said there because I think it's a lot easier to hit like top 500, for example, top 1,000 even, but you don't really need to get like top 1,500. Like the drop off between 1,500 and what's that one, 150? Is that right? No, wait, 100?
Yeah, 100, then 1,500, and then 5,000.
That's huge, right? That's like over 10 times. Yeah, over 10 times.
It's funny because the blitzes and the siege have different payout levels.
Right. I mean, but I'm saying if you can do that, take that same structure and apply it to the regular PvP. But here we are. So again, the answer to this question in terms of how long this has been going on has been forever, since the very beginning, and I don't know what is keeping them from changing it. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I don't understand that either. I like many things in the game, I don't understand why they don't shake it up a little bit here and there. A little more. And then, granted, I know people complain, but if you just add more brackets, you'd probably get higher participation. But their marketing team, like the sales teams, the teams that make a lot of these decisions, maybe they have I mean, granted, they have metrics I don't see, but I just don't understand a lot of the logic and a lot of the things that they do. Even for example, Cersei. She's not going to have a sale probably. I think we figured out it's roughly 6 months after they come out. That's a long time. The meta may have long moved on and nobody will care about Cersei. But today, if they did a sale next month, for example, maybe they will. Who knows? But if they did a sale next month, people would probably buy the crap out of it because everybody's really high on her now. Because she kind of started off as a character I wasn't sure about, but her sales end too fast before you really get a good feel. They'd probably make a lot of money, but if they wait 6 months, there's probably going to be new characters that come out that may not even have her have a place in the meta. So even just silly things like that they do that just don't make sense to me. Like, why not add different things to different areas or change things up?
A lot of that has to go down with like corporate structure, I think. It's because like that's the marketing team sort of being disassociated or not really connected to the developers and the community, right?
Yeah.
I feel like marketing, they're off on their own side, and they just do things kind of willy-nilly with not too much information. And I feel like that says a lot about, WB Games San Francisco, soon to be EA or whatever.
No, actually, you guys have seen the news that the sale is on hold.
Oh yeah, okay.
So I don't know if you've seen that. We don't have to get into that. We can kind of save that for a different episode maybe. But most of the news reports coming out is that it sounds like the sale talks have fizzled, and it doesn't mean it's not for sale anymore, but things are not moving forward at the moment.
All right.
So that's kind of disappointing to me personally. But
on that topic, we gotta get going because I don't have too much time left.
Okay. That's the owl question. Who Let the Dogs Out by Ventus 1? I would say probably just me and Doombox. So they're the only two with dogs.
Actually, just got done feeding my dog breakfast, so yeah.
I just let the dogs out earlier.
I want a dog, but I don't have one.
Ventus One has another question on our Patreon page. I'll pop over real quick. It says, "Well, on Red." Oh, sorry. He wants to hear about comps and counters. That's a very long conversation. That's kind of too nuanced, I think, for an AMA.
We'll do a separate cast about that because that's one of the topics I want to cover. So
yeah,
we
already
do one about counters, actually.
Yeah, so a little bit of just side rant real quick. If we're going to change up a little bit of the structure of how the cast is going forward with more structure and more. So one of the things is hopefully we can get a consistent schedule with the Chatterbox, which will be a lot about that.
Yeah.
So more to come on that. We might do a separate recording later in the week to kind of talk about some future plans for WROL. But anyway, next question on here. How do you guys see the game changing in the next couple months? I'll give you my quick answer on that. Is I don't see much changing other than just, new characters. And then, hopefully, I don't know. I don't see a large amount of change personally. What do you think, June?
No, I was about to say, my short answer is I don't. I don't think it's really going to change much at all. More characters, more reworks, maybe a tease of something years from now. That's really all we can look forward to for the most part, I think.
How about you, Ogre?
Yeah, at this point, I think we've settled into our rut, as it were. And if you're unhappy with how the game's going, don't expect it to change. We're at a point where it's probably not going to.
DP?
I would say, and this is me being optimistic, maybe in the next year, 2 years, maybe we'll get finally Chapter 9 and Chapter 10. But other than that, I don't really foresee something new shaking anything up, like another game mode, so to speak. Probably just like tacking on new stuff to existing content or just existing areas. That's basically all I can see, really. But
The
then,
only caveat to that would be, though, is think about the things that they have added in increments. The last big thing they added, which nobody likes really, but they did it, you can tell it took a lot of work, was ads. And
yeah,
that was a
Oh,
big
yeah.
addition. It's not to us as players, but when you look at just effort level required to create it, I mean, it's pretty
Yeah.
slick, pretty well done. Talks to a lot of different outside sources. So I'm guessing it took a lot of effort.
As it probably also requires a few new positions.
Yeah. So the optimist in me is that now that that's been done for a little while now, it allows them development time in something else, and hopefully that something else is something that we actually want. And maybe, because Gear 11 came out of nowhere. I mean, nowhere.
Yep.
So, and so did Raids. Raids kind of just came out of nowhere. So maybe, just maybe. I'm not holding my breath on it, but maybe.
I wouldn't
mean-
say Raids came out of nowhere, but
Yeah, I mean, Gear 11 literally came out of nowhere. There was just like, oh, hey, there's Gear 11 now.
Yeah,
And
even
then the world burned.
yeah. So- but the game was a lot more fun because at one point the game was just one shot everything, and then like at the beginning, I loved the meta at the beginning of it because characters like they were longer battles. You couldn't just one shot crit people anymore, and just I don't know.
There was a point where it was rough though, when you had like the Clayface teams and stuff like that, where like
That was a while later though.
there was a
Yeah.
point where everyone was playing like the big thick buff teams, like matches.
that was
took, like,
in Gear 11, though.
Yeah, I understand. But I mean,
Like-
though, that was a point where like matches took like 5 to 10 minutes.
I remember back when I first started, which is way, way long ago, just about beta almost. The main team, the biggest team, because they had just released with the PvP rewards, was World's Greatest Detective and Assault Warsuit Lex Luthor. That was like the big two because those rewards had just came out. Some people glitched and got the things. And then what you had, Wonder Woman Coda, who was like super meta defining at the time, which is hilarious to look back on.
Yeah, she was. She was my favorite
And
character.
some random green character, sometimes Hal Jordan, sometimes Superman, but usually, it's just whoever.
It was all
and-
red mostly because they didn't have there was no, like red was, it wasn't. There wasn't a big difference between what colors you used.
Yeah, Affinity Defense didn't really exist back then.
Yeah.
So eventually the meta settled into, Emerald Archer, Castaway, Coda, and Suicide Squad Deadshot or something
Yeah,
like
the
that.
few people that had
Mhm.
Suicide Squad Deadshot he was.
Yeah, and then
It was
eventually it
cool.
became Reverse Flash.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But early on, that's what it was. I remember very early, the hardest team in the game to beat was, I couldn't beat it at all, was EAGA, Castaway, Coda, and Joker Damaged Goods. Because he had that bomb that would just blow up every time. It was, anytime you did crits and stuff, and it was ridiculous.
Mhm. Man, things got wild. Do you guys remember back when Metro had a revive? Those were crazy times.
All right, so let's keep going. The next question from Yatara Molnir, probably pronouncing that horribly wrong. What team would you build if you had to go up against a mystery team?
Wait, what team will we build if we had to go against what?
A mystery,
mystery
team.
team?
Like I always thought
Like,
that'd be a fun
you can't-
PvP mode where,
you can actually decide, like,
This is-
you can actually see who you're facing, basically. Is that the premise?
yeah, that would be
Oh.
so much fun.
Okay.
That's
PvP
easy.
mode.
Constantine,
Easy peasy.
Constantine plus 3 other characters.
Yeah.
Doom, I'm guessing
mine would
Lex
be-
and 3 other characters.
Yep. Lex, Artemis, Grundy, and whoever in the fourth. It could be Hippo or it could be Chemo. Really, it just depends on how I feel that day.
I would do my Martian Manhunter, Hawkgirl, Cersei, Artemis team. That's been my favorite team, and it works against just about everything except for full evasion teams. How about you, Ogre?
Like, am I trying to just have fun? Because
Well,
if
if
that's
you're
the case, I'm
gonna
gonna
go
be.
against a mystery team, just random mystery team.
So assume you
Like,
want to win.
right. I always assume that because this is a game that people are competitive with.
Yeah, at Gear 8, what would be the go-to comp?
Like you're looking at Lex, Arcus, and then like probably Artemis. Yeah, it's probably some Lex-based comp with a lot of buffs. That's about all I can think of.
All right, we won't ask everybody, but we'll Doom. I'll let you answer this one because it's kind of funny. What's the worst team you can come up with?
I'm gonna step out for a bit. I'm gonna put on a pot of coffee while you
Okay.
guys answer this.
Sorry, could you repeat that for me?
The worst team you can come up with.
Jeez, that's
Worst
deeply
as
tough.
in unplayable?
I would say something to do with Aquamoa.
Akuma, yeah.
No, Aquamoa can be
Beetle.
usable with Lex. That's my big problem right now is that
Okay, but we're not
Lex
using
makes
him with
everyone
Lex.
usable,
That's
so
the point.
I have kind of a skewed perspective.
Yeah, but the worst team would not have Lex in it.
No, I'm
Yeah.
aware the worst team wouldn't have Lex on it, but
I would say Aquamoa, Beetle, Joker Damaged Goods potentially, although he's actually decent.
Yeah, he's bad, but he's not like on the lowest end of the scale.
Like, he's bad because he's been overshadowed by power creep, not because his kit is entirely unusable.
He's one of those ones. If he gets
couple of
reworked, I
parts-
think he could be decent.
Oh no, if he gets reworked, he's going to be busted.
Well, he's got a stun, so I'm excited about that. I think he could be very good.
Exactly. Like, it's a low cooldown. It's a low cooldown, too. So,
Yeah.
like, he's a character that I've always kind of secretly liked.
The thing
I've
about
never
it,
been
right,
secret about it either.
is that combination, Aquamoa plus Blue Beetle, would actually function decently well together because Aquamoa is based on crits. Blue Beetle is also really good with assist callers. I mean, they would actually work pretty decently well at taking down some green characters because Aquamoa's damage isn't super duper low. It's lower than most, but it's not the
And he's
worst.
at assists.
The worst team I could probably think of would be one singular G0 level 1 Blue Beetle. And that's it. That's your entire team.
All right, most
At
hated.
level 1, I don't know. Never mind.
And this doesn't have to be the hardest character to face. Just what's the most hated character in the game, like for you, Ogre?
I've been seeing a lot of chemo. People hate Doom. Not Doom, the person
that's
on our
not nice.
podcast, but the mechanic.
I'm a pretty decent guy.
No, people love to hate you. That's the difference.
Yeah, that's funny because when I was going on Reddit at one point, I was like, how do I counter Doom? And I was like, oh, how cool. Someone's like trying to figure out how to counter my team. And then I was like, I can't stand Doom. Why do they put him in? And I was like, whoa. What did I do? And then I read the topic. And I was like, okay, it's not about me. But then I felt sad because I'm like, wow, I'm really unpopular. I'd rather people hate me than just not talk about me.
My most hated character to face is definitely by far Superman, just because he's just annoying and he makes the matches take forever. And then a close second, and it's not every match, but just occasionally, is Castaway Green Arrow, just because you have to bring anti-speed, somebody who deals with him at the beginning, or he'll just take so many turns and remove all your buffs, and it just, if you want to play a specific type of team, he a lot of times just ruins your plans, and I'm just tired, because he's on every team. I'm just tired of seeing him. And it's not even so much that he's...
Speaking of on every team that I'm tired of seeing, We go back to the old days where I was on my other account, and I absolutely appalled every time I would see a Harley Quinn mad jester.
I still do.
Yeah, but I mean, Hal Jordan's special damage now, and he just, if I see her, I slot Hal Jordan every single time. That's just what I do. But
My bleeders did have problems with her a lot.
But yeah, she
You
does
know what?
ruin a lot of
I'm
plans.
going to come in here, and I'm going to drop a somewhat hot take on this. And you guys can feel free to disagree with me if you want, but you guys can't deny that this character is annoying. Can you take a guess at who it is before I say it?
Blue Beetle.
Cassandra Cain?
No, but that's a good guess.
I would say Wonder Girl, but
No, I could
Don't
care less
talk
about Wonder
about
Girl.
her
I have
anymore.
Artemis. Who cares? Who even is Wonder Girl?
yeah, she's kind of. I mean, I still hate Wonder Girl, but she's less. She's not as high on my hate scale as she used to be.
So, my most hated character is Batman Beyond. Because that stupid passive where he puts 3 hit chance downs, which the game is like, oh, you mean 100% hit chance down. Yeah, okay. And I'm just like, why? Why is this happening? Like, not even on the characters he's hitting. He just exists. And I'm like, I need to kill him first. If he goes invisible, then I'm probably going to lose. Because I just have the worst luck when it comes to that 3 hit chance down. I'm just like, come on, man.
And the animations take so long.
I
Basic.
know.
That drives me crazy more than anything else. But I don't. Kane is annoying too because you do have to wait forever to finish killing her.
Yeah, well, it's less annoying
Cyborg,
for me
man.
because-
Cyborg.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I don't want to
well,
use Cyborg. That's the problem.
You don't even need Cyborg. You can use chemo. So the thing, right, is everyone's like, oh, well, she'll purge the debuffs off. Well, she only purges the debuffs off on her turn. She still takes the bleed damage. And if you stack it up, it'll kill her. Like,
Yeah.
So I honestly don't mind Cassandra Cain. I just put out chemo. She takes some bleeds. He throws some more bleeds with his can't miss. And with Lex on the team, of course, that can't miss ends up doing like 12,000 damage by itself because N-Tups. And it's just like, well, have fun. You know, Cassandra Cain's not hard to work around. It's just waiting. Same with Superman.
Just a
He's not hard
nuisance.
to work around. It's just waiting. And you can make that wait shorter by just putting characters on like, oh, well, this applies buff immunity. Okay, well, now Superman doesn't do anything. You know,
Except that he purges buff immunity.
well, he does, but if you put the buff immunity on him and he tries to trigger his passive, it's like, oh, well, you can't. And then you just get another free shot on him.
Yeah, and that's actually why I like Vandal against him. But you know, it's different thing.
Yeah. So but Batman Beyond, 100%. That 3-hit chance down for some reason just completely decimates me.
And DP, if you end up having to go, we have a ton of questions left still. So.
All right. I'll do like one more. and
Okay.
then-
This is actually still from the same person. Oh wait, we already did most hated character. So next one, well, this is a quick, easy answer. It's from R Havton, Ravton. So,
Okay.
whatever. Tell me, do you bleed? The answer is yes. I have bled before.
I'm a robot, so no.
No, yeah, that's true.
Lies. Bleed teams win.
Next one's from
I have
Morph.
Hal Jordan, so not always.
Ah, okay. Next one's from Morpheus 1. What team do you want to use but you know you would get smoked? Like a team that's bad but you want it to work.
Oh, it's
Good
easy.
question, actually.
Justice League.
Okay.
Like a Justice League based team, because there's like no real synergy there. There's not too much, at least. I mean,
I was gonna say with Superman's rework, you could probably make it work a lot better than before.
it's basically like Superman tanking for the team, and hopefully they stay alive to do stuff. But
Yeah.
like Batman,
Depends on which
Wonder
Batman you use. Because
That's
if you're
true.
using Batman's
There-
World's Greatest
yeah, there-
Detective, you got that taunt up a
Yeah.
lot.
There's 3
Yeah.
Batmen to choose from. There's 3 Wonder Women to choose from, and there's, I mean, I guess you got your pick of like Martian Manhunter, Aquaman, Flash. I mean, there's a lot of
2 Aquaman, Martian Manhunter, Flash, Shazam. You've got options.
you got
Yeah,
options.
honestly, make it work.
If you had
You could
Shazam
actually
and
be very
Superman
reliable.
going back and forth on those taunts, oh my
Yeah.
god, I would.
I feel like there's not like a straight synergistic team that all 4 characters have like built-in synergies, but they kind of work together, but they're not made to work together. Is kind of how I feel.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
always wanted them, because I really thought they were going to go down that road where, and I know a lot of people didn't like this about Marvel Strike Force, but having they have the X-Men team synergy. I really kind of wanted them to go a little harder, where it's a bigger deal to have.
More than
Yeah.
just Beast Boy, and Zod, and
Yeah,
the two others that actually care.
I wanted to see real team synergy. So if you have two together, they get 5%. If you have three together, they get 10%. You have four together, they get 20%. Where it's an actual significant deal. I always thought that'd be cool, but they never did that. How about you, Doom? Any particular team idea you'd want to do that you can't really make work as well as you'd like?
Any team that doesn't run Lex, basically. But I mean, no, going beyond the obvious one. I don't know. I've always wanted to do like a really strong retaliation team that doesn't rely solely on Arcus, but you can't really do that because Arcus is the greatest retaliator in the game. Like, you could bring Guy, and Guy's good, but...
Chemo disagrees.
Yeah, but that's the thing about Chemo, right? Is that he can still die decently fast. Like, he's hard to kill, sure, but if he takes 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 punches to the face, he's still dead, and, there's only so much he could do about it. So I would probably end up running something like Chemo and Guy, but then who am I going to run for the other two?
They always wanted to do a big beefcake team, like where you're super tanky and you take a long time to kill, but you can't really do that. Like, people can just mow through those so fast.
Yeah,
that's always been my issue with the game.
Scaling comp with like Firestorm and Doomsday. I would love to do something like that.
Yeah,
but what can you do?
I always thought that would be fun. Then
All right, I'm gonna step out.
All right, see you later, DP.
See you later.
Are you guys good to keep going for a while?
I just got up. I woke up specifically for you guys.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I'm good. So we'll keep going through all these. The next one was, what are your favorite characters from lore?
Do I get to answer who gets my comp that doesn't work?
Go ahead.
I've always wanted Double Date to work better than it does, and by that I mean the Titans, Nightwing, Starfire, Beast Boy, and Raven. I've always wanted that to work just a little bit better, and it's almost there, but they don't have any synergy together, other than that they're Titans.
They really need to rework Nightwing to be a lot cooler, too. That would help a lot.
Yeah. Like, I like Raven's passive is so good on anything.
Again.
She needs a rework just because of her. She can't take a hit at all. But otherwise, I like her kit.
Yeah, she just needs survivability. I mean, really, it's her biggest draw. How about this? This kind of falls into that question. Favorite characters from lore, or just characters that you like that are basically C tier or below characters that you like and you'd like to see reworked, etc.
Yeah, all the Titans. Now that I've got my chemo, is amazing.
Well, Beast Boy's like A tier, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Beast Boy's really good.
He's so good.
He's a really good Titan. Starfire's up there. She's like B tier, I think.
Yeah, she's one of those
she's
ones.
She's probably falling off a bit, but yeah.
Yeah, she's power creep is kind of getting her. I mean,
well, I mean, power creep already had her because Firestorm existed.
As soon as Cyborg gets his rework, ooh, buddy.
Oh man, I have so many Cyborg frags. I'm ready for that day to come.
And honestly, it wouldn't even be hard. All you have to do is change his leadership into possibly a passive, and give his basic true sight. That's it. All you gotta do.
No, God, no. If his leadership becomes a passive, he's almost instantly S tier, because that's basically Lex's meter-giving ability, which is a good amount of what his kit does well, but you can just slot it in whatever. It's like, no, that's too much.
The two characters I want to see most, Batman CC and Riddler. I just really want to see those two get a jump.
So, for me, it's a difficult question, because I guess the perception of what is a C tier is a bit different. So, I mean, like Bane, for example, right? Bane is a character that I love in the lore, but I feel like he really just can't stand up to anything anymore in the game. Lex one-shots him even with all of his immunities up, and, he's supposed to be this big tanky character, but he's so easy to beat down. Same with Doomsday, for example. Well, Doomsday to slightly less extent, because he can get there. He can become that unkillable machine. It just takes so long, and it's so easy to stop him. I would love to see those two characters, maybe less so Doomsday, but definitely Bane, get a rework and get some more stats in there. Or if WB just wants to, make agility and defenses count for something, that would also be nice. I would definitely be okay with that too.
Yeah, that would be huge for so many characters. That's where I think they could. And I know, once again, people don't want this, but if they were to do a big content update and they do Gear 12, they could really fix a lot of these characters because the kits
Just
themselves
double
are good.
everybody's HP.
Yeah, you could just, but I mean, think about when they first did Gear 11, like how Jordan went from not so good to really good before his rework initially because he was so much meatier. So you could fix a lot of problems just by doing that.
Yeah. Well, think about it, right? I don't want Gear 12 because it's hard enough already getting everything to Gear 11 because it costs even on event day, some 14,000 things to bring a character from nothing to a 70 G11.
But ideally, when they do that, the new gear, like Chapter 9 and 10 or whatever they add, would make it trivial to get to Gear 11.
Gear 12. I have an idea for Gear 12 that'll make everybody lose their minds.
What's that?
The whales in particular.
Make it free?
No.
You're never. Nobody's gonna do that without a return on income.
Make it require a rebirth crystal.
Yeah, rebirth crystals.
And give out the rebirth crystals a little bit more frequently, maybe.
They would have to do more because rebirth crystals
daily
are
or something.
So rare already. So.
Right, just give out a rebirth crystal specifically for the Gear 12 daily.
So what do you mean?
Would be all you need to do.
So, the whole up and away thing, if instead of whatever it gives you now, it gives you rebirth crystals.
Yeah.
And that way you can go to Gear 12 on your characters, which would be interesting, definitely. The only problem is I feel like it would make some characters crazy, crazy broken, which is why I'd rather just see a simple fix to...
It depends on how they do it.
But that's just me. Because you already know, if the game gets really, really tanky, Lex is just going to be at the top of the chain because he already is at the top of the chain in a super offensive meta that doesn't really cater to his low health pools and tanks high health pools. But when you've got him running around...
That's why he's so good, though, is because everybody has no health.
I think, I don't know, I think he might be better because if they have a ton of health and then he's healing the crap out of them, too.
Yeah, if you have
his heals don't change their power level. The reason they're overhealed in 2 hits is because nobody has any HP.
That's true.
Well, that's not a problem, though, because there's already exists teams that just can do back-to-back-to-back-to-back-to-back healings because every move they do buffs, so he just never runs out of healing.
I understand, but what I'm saying is if characters had more HP, it would take longer to build up the bar. Look at characters in the events when they have multiple times their HP. You don't get them to full overheal. Don't give me that.
Yeah, because the thing doesn't last long enough. That's about it. If the matches are lasting longer, though, that's a much higher possibility. Can I get a character with 5 times their health pool currently to full overheal in a minute and 30 seconds when I'm also having to concentrate on specifically doing damage? Yeah, but it would be hard and I would have to build in a suboptimal way. If it were a match that takes, however long it needs to take, oh yeah, I could 100% get a character from 80k to 160k health. Not to mention characters like Doomsday and all those folks. Because Doomsday right now, he punches and gains effectively 21,000 health. If you boost his health by 2 times, he's going to be punching and gaining 50k. You're almost not going to be able to keep up with that gain input. Same with Ares, which it would be a godsend for Ares because he just gains nonstop stamina. But imagine a 82 stamina Ares who every time someone crits or gets enraged or anything happens, he just is oh, well, there's another 50k health, just plopping it on. And that's just the whole game, you know?
Right, but you have to remember that when adding Gear 12, characters are going to deal more damage too.
Yeah, but the whole point of it...
They already deal 50,000 damage on a basic attack with Wonder Girl. Who cares?
I guess I'll wait for 2 seconds. You guys keep going for a minute. I'll be right back.
Oh, okay. I guess we're going to continue fighting then. Well, yeah,
sure, let's debate this.
Damage now, but when you do Gear 12, I think the whole point of it is you're supposed to slow the game down so that people aren't getting one-shot. It would more resemble your Gear 8 meta. So, yeah, sure, you could take 2 Arcus crits and take 100, 200k damage and die still, yeah, that's fine. But, like, by and large, the characters that already exist and are able to keep up in this meta where you can die so quickly, like Grundy, for example, right? Grundy's a massive ball of health with crit immunity. You can't die to anything just about on the first turn unless you're specifically purging and focusing him. And, you know, at that point, you have to build a team that's faster than Artemis because, well, Artemis just heals them right back up because Lex exists, you know? And it would basically be the same process. You would have to both out-heal or out-damage characters' natural buff gains, like Doomsday and the such. You would also have to outdo the healing power, which if characters are getting boosted damage, that also means Lex is getting boosted healing because it's based off of his end score. And you also have, like, Hal and his shields. You have Medfil. Medfil would be an absolute nightmare because he just pops shields everywhere, you know? Like, that's why I want
Doom, I get it. Like, but you're also forgetting that, you know, we have strategies like stun teams that don't give a darn how much HP you have because you're just never going to get a turn.
Well, that's the thing also. I've fought Hate Mail's stun team, which some would regard as, like, one of the best on the market. And my characters don't give a damn about stuns. Artemis purges it off on her turn, you know? Like, Lex can purge off stuns off of basically everyone. Someone sent me a question that says, if you had to remove one mechanic from the game, which would it be? / if you had to add one mechanic in its place, meaning every character that had the first mechanic gains this new one, what would it be and why? So basically, if you had to take one mechanic out and then replace it with a different mechanic, what would that mechanic be and why would you do it?
Oh, that's an easy one for me. Silence. Make it do something better, like cancel passives or something.
Right. Silence or Enraged. Those are the two that are just kind of like, eh. Actually, you know what? It said mechanic. I would like to remove a buff counting counterattack. Because it literally warped the game.
But what would you replace it with?
Anything. That's not quite that.
So I think the question's interesting because from, like, a design perspective, we have to consider, like, how many characters have X ability and, like, how would changing that have changed how characters come out since then. Because if Wonder Girl didn't have her whip, then we probably wouldn't have a lot of the silver bullets we have nowadays.
This is true.
For me, the mechanic I would probably remove would be on death effects. Like, when you're
ally or enemy or both.
You know, like Deathstroke's leader and stuff like that.
So ally deaths.
Yeah. Because enemy deaths, I feel like that's an okay thing, but ally deaths, that's one of those things that I was like, it doesn't really make sense to me. On some of these characters, it doesn't really do a lot. Now, what I would like to see in its place would be something like...
like the Saint Walker ability where if they're by themselves, they get stronger.
No. Because that
I want to
exists.
see. I know, but that's what I want to see with Deathstroke.
What I would probably want to see would be something more along the lines of, like, how would I put this? Like, you know how if any of you guys have played World of Warcraft, the Death Knights used to have this ability where it's like, you could pick an ally, and if they die, they turn into a skeleton for a short amount of time.
Yeah, that would be fun.
I would want to see something like that, like a limited revival where, X ally died? Okay, well, they're back for 3 turns, and then they're dead forever.
That would have been fun for Cersei. She raised it, instead of raising your character, raised, like, just a skeleton. And that skeleton is enraged, and, like, you don't control it, but it does something for 3 turns. And
yeah, because I feel like that would really increase the capabilities of a lot of characters, you know? Like if Deathstroke, for example, whenever his allies died, instead of him gaining, like, 8 million buffs, instead he has the effect that, like, a mercenary takes its place for so much time.
That would be super fun.
You know, or bounties would also be a good one that I would want to see, where, like, if an enemy kills an ally, they have a bounty set to them, and then when you kill them, you gain extra buffs.
That'd be cool too.
So, okay. But that was the question that was sent to me, and I thought it was really interesting, so I decided to save it.
All right, cool. So Doombox, we were talking earlier about what kits do we want to see on the new characters coming out in the future? Kind of what do you want to see, or what do you want to see countered? Kind of what's your wish list dream characters?
Well, personally, I tend to play a slower comp, more tanky, more focused on shielding and just getting stuff done. But as far as things that I wouldn't mind seeing taken down a bit, probably meter down effects like CAGA and such. Those could probably use a little tinkering, because it feels like what's his name? Kilowog, for example, right? He's good, but he's not as fast as CAGA, so he's not as good as he could be. Cersei is good, but she's not as fast as Kilowog or CAGA, so she's not as good as she could be, so on and so forth. But at the top of that totem pole, you have CAGA, basically, who exists as a example of a character that just his existence creates an imbalance in the teams where you need to have someone that can either make you faster than him or can, make it so that if he does attack, he's not doing anything for him. Like a silence fact, like Ross, for example. If he slaps CAGA, then you're in the clear for the most part, and you just win the match. So seeing him get nipped down a bit probably wouldn't be a very bad thing, in my opinion.
I don't know if silence does much because he still takes 3 turns. He'll hit twice, remove all your buffs, and then get a 3rd turn. But I do want to see anti-speed. I always thought a Jay Garrick rework would be super fun, even though I'm not super excited for him as a character so much. I mean, I don't dislike him, but he does look like he's carrying a cane. He needs a artwork rework as well.
Oh yeah, little walker with the tennis balls on the front for him.
Or give him a back brace so he can stand up straight.
Yeah.
He looks terrible. But I like the theory of his kit, the meter eating. He just doesn't do it that well.
Yeah. Honestly, if he had 100% on that move, he'd be such a better character. Well, probably not amazing, but you would still have a reason to run him.
Yeah, I'd love to see turn meter up, get turned into, he steals it. Like you could do an anti-meter month, and I think a flash month, like you were mentioning earlier, have Kid Flash maybe open turn 0, uses 3 on turn 0. So that would negate the 20% up. Or what does he do? Does he do 20% down?
I think he does 15% plus 5% if you have speed ups, and then he has a chance to do it twice.
Even 15% would be good.
Oh, yeah, that would still be plenty. Plus, you have to keep in mind, of course, for the viewers that don't know, with attack moves like Artemis's basic attack, it goes after other effects have been applied. So with Cheetah and Martian, they would apply their meter first, then Kid Flash would attack, thus draining it.
Yeah, see that would be really cool, and then maybe release a character like Black Flash or what's his name? The guy with an S. Savitar? Is that it?
Possibly. I was thinking something like Impulse, but that's...
Yeah, any of those characters that could do... you were mentioning to me in chat earlier that a character where like CAGA casts his 2, and then instead of anytime a character... he's hit with an ability that drains meter, instead that character gains it.
Yeah. So I was thinking something, of course, this is more of like a Superman month thing, but like Mr. Mixel-Pitalik or Mad Hatter, for example. Those would be good candidates for a move or a passive that says like any meter gain or meter loss is reversed. So instead of CAGA draining 20% meter, you instead gain 20% meter. Or like say if you have Grundy, instead of his taunt adding 25% meter, instead it pulls 25% away, letting him taunt, for longer. Stuff like that. That'd probably be a good change. Because then if people run it, it's easy to counter. You just don't do that specific thing until they're dead. But At the same time, you could then build a team that emphasizes that advantage. That, oh, well, you're not draining my meter? Well, then you're probably going to lose because I'm packing like Lex and Artemis. Well, maybe not Lex because Lex would, but, Artemis, for example. She doesn't have to worry about meter at all. She just chainsaws through everything.
Well, but that would also, and I think that's the goal isn't to completely neuter all the other characters. It's just to kind of shake up the meta. Where right now, I mean, things to a certain degree, I feel like the meta's in a decent place because you still see a pretty wide variety of teams, but most of the teams are still different variations of who can go faster. You see that.
Yeah,
You see that a lot. Or who can go faster to get Arcus to kill somebody, or who can go faster to get Artemis to kill somebody. I mean,
exactly. Which is part of the reason why I like Medphil as a character. Because his kid is basically, even if I don't go faster at first, I'm going to be going faster because of the passive. And he's able to shut down characters so fast that, it becomes a race of can you kill him before someone on your team is just disabled.
But that's where you need like a character like you were mentioning that does the turn meter down because in 90% of matches he never gets that opportunity.
Yeah. But if he does, it gets out of control.
Yeah.
So
yeah, if he doesn't, and that's where I think it would be fun to have one of those types of characters because then somebody like Medphil would rocket up to being like one of the best characters in the game.
Yeah. The only thing about it is, and my main concern about it, is you have to do it in a way that doesn't just shift the who's going first backwards slightly. You know what I mean? Like, if you had a character that, say, I don't know, stunned a character on their first turn, like I mentioned before, Hal would just walk in and then, sure, you wouldn't be able to run MMH or Cheetah, but then they could still run CAGA and be fine.
Yeah.
And you just wasted a slot on that thing.
That's why I think it does need to have, like, there should be kind of a multiple character month where, it's kind of about anti-turn meter, just to kind of give you a couple tools to use for that.
Yeah. It just has to be a thing where it's not like, oh, well, now MMH and Cheetah don't exist because it doesn't matter because they're not going first. But then all you've done is just make a different player go first. They can still build their comp with that in mind and just include that anti-turn meter option.
Yeah, you really want something that punishes you for speeding up or turning metering down a little bit.
Yeah, but, it would have to be something that's also deep enough that you can build a comp both with it and around it. So that's why I think that Mr. Mixelpidlick or Mad Hatter reversing turn meter gains and losses would probably be the most clean solution to the speed meta. Of course, also I'd be fine with more characters that can heal that aren't Lex. Because, man, do I like healing, and man, do I like Lex, but sometimes I want to heal and also use someone other than Lex.
Yeah, see, that was one thing I didn't like about Lex, is that even if he didn't like mega super heal, he would still be absolutely amazing. But he just kind of made it so that all other healers are not worth using.
Yeah, because like even before the rework, his healing was still very serviceable. Like you could get one shot, sure, but if you weren't, he still could heal you up to full without a problem. But now that it's overheal, he's like, oh, well, you're just never going to die. And it's like, okay, but then why would I run anyone else, Enchantress, what a joke. Black Lightning, good character, but
you don't bring him for healing, yeah.
Let's see, Zatanna, desperate need of a rework, but, what can you do?
Yeah, they don't seem to ever want to rework her.
And
the only thing is, even if she did an overheal, like let's just say she did an overheal to 200%, I still don't know why you would bring her over Lex.
Yeah, well, she's so slow also, is the thing.
She needs she needs to be 300% overheal. Or she can take it to a third bar.
Here's a big AoE heal and debuff purge, and it's like Lex does that on his too. His second ability is better than your entire kit, basically.
I know this is going to be an extremely unpopular opinion, but I really hope that we get a Gear 12, and then Gear 12 makes health pools very large, and then Lex's overheal is not significant in comparison to characters like Zatanna or Enchantress when they get... Because they could really fix all the stat problems.
Yeah, but the only problem then is that you just replace Lex with Mira, and then that's it. Because those mins are going to be cranking out tens
True.
of thousands of health at that point.
Well, yeah,
Or
but
just
then at least you
slot
have
in Doomsday.
you have counters like Black Manta and stuff that exist at least.
Yeah, but again, they could just slot in Doomsday, and then, well, have fun trying to kill him when he's punching you and gaining effectively 50,000 health every punch. Like,
You'd be happy
yeah,
about that. You love Doomsday.
I'd be okay with the tanky meta, mind you. I'd be perfectly fine with that. Put in
That
some
was my
shielding
favorite
and all
of
that.
all the metas, and I know a lot of people didn't like it because everybody wants to be able to clear their board super fast. But I loved when it was the Hal Jordan heavy duty tank meta for a while.
I miss that meta. Now, you know what? What I will say that I want that doesn't exist technically? A character that can heal other characters on their basic attack.
That would be interesting.
Because we have characters like Sinestro who can heal themselves. We have characters like Mira who can apply mins to herself. But there's not really any character that you can use that you do an attack and then they heal someone else.
I wouldn't mind seeing something like that, especially like kind of Medfell style, where because Medfell really isn't. You don't bring them for damage in any way, shape, or form. In fact,
Oh yeah,
if you're
definitely
facing
not.
certain characters, like if you're facing even other greens that have any type of healing component, the match stalemates and you have to abandon because you can't kill them. But
Yeah.
he'll never die, but you can't kill them. And I wouldn't mind seeing another character, maybe a mystic that's similar to that, that is all about healing and keeping your team alive.
I personally would be perfectly fine with it because if I could just get a character that can heal on their basic, just throw them into a assist call comp and just never die. Easy peasy.
That'd be fun because that would work well with Starfire. So.
Mm-hmm. So that's my input on it, at least, is I want characters that can heal on their basics. I wouldn't mind characters that create a more diverse and more like a thinking man's game, I guess would be the way to put it, in terms of what teams you're bringing into a fight because, oh, well, this character has to do this thing, but this character reverses that thing. Okay, well, I have to work around that. Like, it wouldn't destroy CAGA. It's not like you would leave the meta.
No,
but you definitely have to think twice before walking into a match and saying, oh, well, CAGA, they don't have anyone faster than that.
Yeah, that's the annoying thing about the meta to me. It's okay, well, because you even see it in Siege right now. If there's a team that the standard Lex, Grundy, Artemis comp doesn't handle, now you were seeing Martian Manhunter, now you're seeing Martian Manhunter plus Cheetah, and then I even saw a team earlier that was Martian Manhunter, Cheetah, and Iron Flash. So I'm like, come on, guys.
Man. I saw a team that was Martian Manhunter, Cheetah, Brainiac, and Iron Flash, and I was like, wow, that's a lot of meter.
Yeah, they just keep, like, the meter stack. There has to be at some point a character that comes out that says, okay, hey, you may not want all that meter.
Yeah, that's actually the reason why I started running a double turn zero taunter team between Grundy and Chemo, because once Cheetah purges off the thing from Grundy or Chemo or whatever, there's still another taunter in the way, and if they're hitting Chemo, then they can have all the meter they want. I don't care. I'll just outlast them because that team doesn't really have any purge.
That's what I love about Cersei. She can get rid of all the turn zero taunters. But then if there's CAG on the other team, you got to get somebody faster than her. And yeah, so that's all that exists, which makes it a little annoying. But all right, I think we finished that topic.
Oh man, I love Lex so much. He's like.
Do you want to know all of the insider info only owls get access to? Like...
Hey owls, don't tell anyone, but I'm gonna give you the secret to the Alliance boss so that we can win. When you attack the boss and kill him, you get points. And when he dies, you kill him again. And you get more points.
Whoa, that's like seeing into the Matrix.
Become a Patreon now for only $1 a month. Just go to patreon.com/WROL Broadcast and get access to a special episode available only to insiders.
This recording will self-destruct.
All right, and continuing the AMA, we have Caga.
Hello.
And Luke can't make it. We'll get him on later in the episode to say something. And then we also have some very special questions from WB for a mini AMA from them as well. So we'll get into that in a little bit too. But let's start with, save some of the owl questions for us, Kage. How many owls have eclipsed 5K DCL lifetime spending? And I would say all of them, just about.
I think all of them, yeah.
That's like.
Because I'm looking, because the first year I spent on DCL, I probably put in like 1,200. And then the year 2 is when I got into the owls. And I said I was on a streak of like $100, $200 a month for a while. But then if I hadn't hit 5K then, I probably definitely hit it with Artemis. I think I put like $800 down for her. So I think it adds up pretty quickly. If you think about it.
Just judging by my Apple Card warnings in the last little bit, yeah, that can happen in a couple months. That's a very easy barrier. I hate to it kind of makes you sick when you really put it in terms like that. So let's just move on.
Luke,
I don't want to talk about
Luke put down $5,000 his first month back. So
yeah, it's very easy to do. It's obscenely easy to do, unfortunately.
Now, while we're on this topic, look, we're talking about spending for a mobile game, right? 5K. But what about 4K for a statue?
I was wondering if you're going to bring that up on this. See, my mindset on this is that, and I'm not one to throw stones on spending in any way, shape, or form because I frivolously spend on nonsense all the time. Though I'm frugal on certain things, which is weird.
Yeah.
But if it's something you really enjoy, something you really want, buy it, and you have the means, go for it. I'm more inclined to buy things that I can play with. So, like if I'm buying a new computer or if I'm buying a new vehicle, though I don't usually buy flashy vehicles, but I will only drive trucks, mainly because I live on land and I have to have one, and I need something to pull the boat and everything else, in the trailer for the tractor and everything else. So I have to have a truck, but trucks are outrageously expensive, so I don't skimp on those. But it makes you happy.
So I got a new corporate job. Okay, I probably won't say what company I work for.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
But I'm moving up in the corporate world. Whatever, life's whatever. And with COVID happening, I'm not exactly out on trips, right? Because the whole world's imploding. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm bored, and I'm looking at this Wonder Woman statue, and I'm like asking the owls, I'm like, dude, this looks pretty sick, So that's just kind of where it came from. But you're right.
That's a lot of money for a statue, though. I mean, it's like it's like anything else. When you compare it to other things that they're similar, you can have like 25 statues for that price.
I'm not really one to collect statues or video games or computer parts or cars. I don't buy any flashy stuff. I don't even buy clothes. I only wear black, so I'll just buy black jeans, black T-shirt, black. I just wear black, so it's never complicated for me. So I don't know.
I don't know if you got it and you really want it, and why not?
Fuck it. Screw it. All right, next question.
Next question. Yeah. Let me ask you one. This question I was going to ask you and Lou, even though I can't remember if we answered it, but we'll answer it again. From an endgame player's perspective, what would you most like added to the game in terms of new content?
A lot of people say stuff like, Chapter 8, we have Chapter 8, Chapter 9, Chapter 10. I don't like that. I'm not really a PvE guy. I don't care for extra PvE content unless it was like, a full-blown cinematic story mode. And, the cinematic story modes we see in the game are not great. It's just like comic panels, I guess. What I would like to see would probably be more along the lines of like PvP related things, like can you challenge a random player? What if you and your alliance mates could go through your rosters and go through a red alert style campaign together? More alliance cooperation kind of stuff. So I'm more inclined to look at that. What about you?
Well, my number one request, just because it would stop all of the drama in DCL, is to have a playback mode for. So if you have a loss from somebody, you can watch how your team performed because I think it would be fun. And they had
Oh
that
yeah.
in that Magic Mana Strike game that we played, where you could see any of your matches that you had previously. So
Oh.
so then that would instantly end the whole "who's a hacker? Am I a hacker? Are you a hacker?"
Yeah.
drama, and
You
it would be
you
fun.
you guys are so horny for hackers. It's crazy. Like, is that guy's totally a hacker? It's like, maybe. What are you gonna do?
Exactly, but that would end the debate. It would end the drama, and
Hmm.
if we just had that mode. My other thing I would love is a new PvP mode, I'm with you. I don't care about PvE, though I wouldn't mind seeing an expansion of the chapters. But we all know that comes with extra gear, and that's gonna upset a lot of people. I think some of the big whales would be happy to see the advancement of gear and everything else, like myself. But I can completely understand why other people wouldn't. But I want to see better alliance, cooperative, something that's not boring like raids, something that's actually fun, um, something that's, alliance versus alliance, where you kind of like you said, like a red alert style PvP. But I also want to see where a PvP mode where you can go in, but you can't see the team you're going to face.
Oh yeah.
Like, just, you know what? Actually, a very easy thing that devs could do that I think would be just phenomenal is lots of new styles of showdowns. Instead of just
Yeah.
female and male or red, because that's what I always thought they would do anyway. So you could do that there, do a showdown where mystery teams and everybody's just question marks. So you
Yeah.
never know what you're going to face when you go in. Um, limited rosters, limited tune, like you could only use special damage, or you could only use physical damage, or you can only use, just really mix it up, mix and match it. It would just make it so
Or
much more fun.
like the teams are pre-selected for you. Like you have no control of your roster, right? So you're behooved to have a deeper roster.
Yeah, I mean that's it. Right now. There's a lot of reasons to not gear all your characters. So give us reasons to gear everybody.
Yeah. I like that.
So that
Sounds
would be
pretty
fun.
solid. Yeah.
Just stuff like that. We don't need anything too elaborate and crazy. I mean, I'm kind of the mindset too that I don't want too much content because I already spend way too much time playing this game. So I don't need a ton of stuff. Just give me just enough to have a good time. And
Yeah. I mean, because I get off work right now, and then I barely have enough time in the evening to chill. I just want to chill at night, and then I have barely enough time during the day because I'm working. So like, what the hell? I don't spend the whole day on the game like anyone else anymore.
yeah, I mean, I usually spend a couple hours. I'll spend like an hour after rollover, and then I spend like an hour. I mean, I don't mind like in the morning. I turn on the news. It's super early in the morning. I'm drinking my coffee, and I run all my stuff. And that's usually what I do before I go to work. That's kind of like my chill before work.
Oh.
So
See, I jump out of bed. I go to the gym. That's it, man. That's how we do it.
yeah, I mean, I usually have about an hour before I gotta leave. So I give
Yeah.
myself an hour to finish everything, and then I'll pop in and out to finish. Just like burn energy, but that takes a couple minutes. Of course, right now I'm trying to do these freaking red alerts because the double Catwoman. I thought I was gonna be able to get her RB5 today, but I ran out of time because my stupid red alerts are all RB5 everything, and I don't know how he did it, and I wish I would have been recording because CAGA took 5 turns in a row.
Oh, wow.
He used a zero twice, and then did a kick and killed my character one shot. And
Jeez.
I just keep losing twos and red alerts. I think it's because I'm rushing and I'm just trying to like power through it so I could do all 10. But anyway, that's a topic for another day. But it was making me angry today, so she probably won't go RB5 today.
It's all good.
Yeah, she's just one I want to finish off. I only need a couple hundred more. But I'll finish her. All right, I'll ask you this question. I think I answered it for myself, but what's your biggest motivation to continue with DCL?
Well, before Artemis, I like to just mess around with different comps, find more tech for people. So people are like, oh, is Med feel good? Is Katana good? Is, I don't know, this character good? I'm researching for different team comps for these characters. And so people will be like, oh, I got this owl on my defense log, and he lost, and, cool. But I was experimenting, brother. It's researching for you people. So I'm doing a community service. So, dunk on me for that? All right. But now I got Artemis in the game, so now all my time is just like, okay, well, what teams does Artemis go with? Let me think. And my brain just kind of turns off because, whatever. So I think I might go back to the researching just for players and just like having live streams now for people. I heard that's a thing now, right? People actually tune into your live streams.
Yeah, it's gotten popular. And and people get into spending wars on there, which is a lot better than our Patreon. So it seems to be the way to go.
Well, you kind of need like a charming personality for this.
I'm no Joshua R, so.
Yeah.
Then again, I mean, Du Bois does it, so.
Yeah, he's kind of dry. It's like, oh man, this Kilowog. Kilowog, brother.
We're just messing with you, Du Bois. All right, so here's some owl questions. Who was the founder of the Court of Owls, and is anyone thinking of backing down? Tell us the story of the owls. This is from Carlos 1636. Oh, and I forgot to tell you guys who the other people's questions was from. I've already lost them. So, sorry guys, whoever asked. I gotta find it again. But anyway, founder of the owls, I know Juicy Fries was one of the earliest ones because he became the leader, but I think Bam Bam was originally the one who started it.
Yeah, I think it was Bam Bam.
And then
he stepped down for Fries, and then Fries stepped down. So now it's Bullseye?
Yeah. It's like a question mark. Yeah, Bullseye.
I don't know.
Bullseye's been the leader for quite some time, but for a little while anyway. But yeah, he's...
Bullsey's rumored to step down soon. I think the Queen is calling him to serve by her side, so now we might replace him. Yeah, Parliament in the UK is crazy because they got a lot of stuff going on. Fries and Bullseye are both British, so whatever they have going on down there, I'm sure Mr. Boris Johnson, will have government rules for them. So we might have a new leader soon. I think Loot might be the leader. Tootie might be the new leader. I have no idea.
Loot will just kick all the peasants, so.
We need a tyrant.
Yeah, I mean, the owls have been pretty consistent. I mean, we have, I think, me and Fries are the last two, and Prim is very early, maybe at the beginning. But I know we're the only like original owls from the day one. But I mean,
isn't CC Rider
he's
OG
old school,
too?
but he's not. He was
he's
at the
not
very
OG?
beginning. Yeah, he's very early though.
Yeah, most of the OGs are retired, I think.
Yeah, the oldest of the old, but we have we don't have turnover very often. We'll have a person here, a person there. Usually it's a newer person that comes on, and then they see too many Kage lady girls posted in chat, and then end up leaving, so.
Hey man, you can't dunk on it's 2020, don't dunk on my favorite Thai hobbies.
Next question. Which owls have the best bromance? I was thinking about that one. I'm having a hard time deciding. I want to say Loot and M4, maybe.
I was thinking Prem and Mirrormaster.
Yeah, maybe. They go off and on, though. Yeah.
I think it's OC3 and M4.
Yeah, those three. They kind of have a little trio going.
A little threesome going on. I don't know what they do in private, but they always laugh about something.
What other clans add subsidiaries? They seem to have pretty close names. I believe Champions... Oh, this is a good one for you, Kage. I believe Champions of Snoo Snoo was created by the Owls. If so, why not something like Court of Owlets? Well, this was originally... What was the original name of this before you changed it?
Rogues of Reddit.
Rogues of Reddit. So this was never an official, and still isn't an official Owl subsidiary. We don't have any subsidiaries of Owls. But for Owls that don't want to join another alliance and still kind of want to remain in chat, because we're kind of strict about who we allow to stay in our chats, if they go to another alliance, they got to go. But if they want to kind of go to a retirement alliance. Champions of Snoo is I don't know. Actually, you run it now, right, Kage?
So it was my original alliance before I came on the Owls, and I kind of felt bad because you make connections with people, and you're like, kind of feel bad. So I'll make an alt and just stick around with you guys, and I kind of just autopilot it and run up points for them and just kind of chit chat with them. But it's kind of its own thing. It's kind of like its own little entity, and it's just an easy pipeline to adopt old owls. I guess you can say.
Requirements are much lower. You don't have much in the way of requirements, right?
Yeah, no. It's 700 points. That's it.
So
Top 50 raids, so you don't have to grind hard in raids at all. So,
I know very little other than that you have it.
Yeah. It's just a side. It's a side alliance for me, but for other people, there's no association. So no.
Owls have mentioned that it is fun to face each other. Are there any people from other clans that you enjoy facing off or hate facing off against?
I like the Black Lantern people.
Yeah, there's usually a tough team. I know Callern, I see his team nonstop. I mean, it's usually pretty tough.
The Guardians people and the Black Lantern people I like going off against.
I like when I see Pingzo too, just because.
So you can dunk on him?
That guy, he entertains me greatly, actually. Are there any... Here's an easy one. Are there any former Owls that you sorely miss and would love to come back? My first and number one answer, Miller time. I miss Miller.
Yeah, where's his... I want his Southern videos, brother.
Oh, yeah. I might have to have him send us a little video for this episode. Just
I've been trying to workshop like different accents, but... because
you're working on a German one, right?
I'm workshopping one, but I don't know. People are really good at acting. I don't know. I just got to work on it.
I have 2 questions for Tuditron.
Does he want to answer them, or should we answer them for him?
Okay. Well, since Tuditron's technically not part of WROL, though he is a good friend of the cast, if you could RB5 one character for free, who would it be? Who would Tuditron pick?
I think probably Starfire.
Either that or Rose. If he could do it for
one
free.
of those two, yeah.
I would think Rose, but Tuditron, if you're listening, you can answer. Here's one. What's your favorite cinematic attack scene in the game? This is from Vishna's Beard. The other one was from Bad Juju for You.
They all have pretty cool cinematics. I think Black Adam's got a pretty sick cinematic.
He does have a good one.
I like Artemis, but that's biased. Starfire's got a good one. I like all the AoE ones.
Yeah, the AoE ones are cooler. I always like Dr. Fates a lot.
What? He looks like he's having a seizure.
That's why I like it. I tried to answer this for you, but I'll let you answer it. Why did you pick Donna Troy as your avatar for the podcast cover?
That's supposed to be Wonder Woman.
Oh, is it? I thought it was Donna Troy.
Wonder Woman.
Oh. Well, there we go. It looks a lot like Donna Troy.
Well, then I guess we gotta fire our artist.
We can't get hold
or they need new eyes.
And if there's any artists who could do similar art to that, we would actually pay you for some work. So we've never been able to get a hold of that artist. He disappeared off the face of the earth. So
yeah. But to answer their question, I picked Wonder Woman because I'm a Wonder. I don't know, something about strong women, dude. I like strong women. I don't know why.
Is your mother a strong woman?
No.
No.
She's very your stereotypical like mom.
No. Didn't know if it was like a mom connection thing. So.
No, I don't have good parents. I told you I don't have good connection with my parents.
Favorite type of pizza? Do you even eat pizza?
I don't eat pizza, no.
I didn't think so. Then there was, what's it like being teammates with Caga? I think I answered that one, so we'll save that for you.
Okay.
First Legend and Rebirth characters. Well, we all know who your first Rebirth character was. But,
DOJ.
yep.
And what was the other question?
Your first Legendary character.
I don't know, man. Huntress?
Yeah, actually, you know what? I answered think CAG, but it might have been Huntress for me too, actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah, because like you have like 1 million shards of her at the beginning of the campaign.
Or it
It's
could have been Hal
Huntress.
Jordan.
Yeah, it's one of those two. I don't think it was anyone else.
All right.
Yeah.
Now let's get into. We asked Reeves to ask the team a couple questions. So our first question was, what are your favorite characters? And she wrote, the design team loves Flash. Playing with him is really fun, and it's a go-to character since he's one of the faster characters in the game. Speed for team strategy is important when they're playing, so Flash is one of the favorites. And then she also wrote, it's the team's favorite one from the comic books as well, which kind of explains why the speed meta may never die. On the next question, she also wrote, on the other hand, the art team's favorite character is Raven, Daughter of Demons, especially her legendary skin. Visually, this one kind of surprises me. Visually, the team likes how Stargirl, wielder of the Cosmic Staff, Cassandra Cain, and Darkseid look. I get everything but Stargirl. Not sure about that one.
I'm trying to think about why. Yeah, no. She's kind of bland. I don't know.
And then they wrote, one of our other favorites of the team are Superboy Prime.
Oh, can we read
But
these?
we haven't seen him yet. And probably Arsenal and Ravager because their animation is fun. I'll show you. She sent me the animation, which I'm going to use for the cover of this image. But you can't hear it with the others because I want to make them wait.
Okay, so this episode's not going out for next week, right?
Monday. She said I could release it the first part of next week. So it'll be before everybody else sees it.
Okay, cool.
Hang on, let me send it to you. It is freaking awesome. I was not excited about Superboy at all until I saw this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice. Oh.
That's badass.
Oh, wow. That's sick, dude. Okay, cool. And they liked Ravager and Arsenal, right?
Yeah, Arsenal and Ravager because their animation is really fun.
Okay.
And then
cool.
The next question was, what is your favorite that you've designed? And then they wrote, one character that the design team enjoyed making was Lex Luthor, survival support suit. The rework. Because he's synergized with every character is really fun. And I admit, I loved Lex when he first came out. I've gotten to the point where I'm tired of him now, but I still use him all the time in red alerts, so can't complain too much. In the Siege, I've used him nonstop, so. Then she also wrote, one of the favorites from the art team is Talia Ghul, because this character had ideas from the whole team. The 3D artists really put their heart into modeling the character. They want all their faces to be unique, so they study faces and make edits with concepts and models until they capture what they're looking for, and Talia is a great example of that. I will say, I completely agree on Talia.
I love the way Talia looks, dude. Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah.
She is.
That's the only character I'm really jealous of 2D-tron's RB5. I'm like, Talia is one who deserves it.
She is,
and she's really good at RB5.
She's got curves that go for days.
And then they wrote, Thank you all the players for enjoying DC Legends. We hope that you have the best time playing the game. We as a team work hard to keep improving your game experience, and we will second that. This game has given me a lot of joy and fun. Even though I complain about it often, it is still hands down my favorite mobile game, and will probably be here till the servers die.
Yep.
And then they also wrote, congratulations on 300 episode guy. Keep up the great work. We hope you have many more episodes to come. And because we're celebrating our 300th anniversary, they gave us this concept art that you see on the cover, which is pretty darn awesome.
That's the Superboy Prime one, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
And with that...
Okay. Thank you to our patrons.
From everyone here at WROL Broadcast, we want to thank you for listening. We appreciate everything you all in the community have done, and we hope to have 300 more episodes. And with that, we will see you next time.
Hey everyone, it's Tootytron. Thank you for listening to WROL Broadcasts. If you like the show, consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/WROL Broadcasts. You guys think if I go out of my way next siege to lose to hate a bunch, that he might send me those dirty socks of his? I hope so.